Hi, I'm Catherine Brunch of Canine Support, and thank you for joining me today to celebrate 50 years of Tellington TTouch. And today we are going to look at the Balance Lead and the Balance Lead Plus, or leash, depending which side of the pond you live on. So the balance lead is just the most useful hack to have, especially if you have just got your dog in a collar, like a flat collar with a flat lead, and you need to just contain them a little bit closer to you. Perhaps you need to cross the road, walk past something that you're worried they might be a little bit reactive towards or get a little bit spooked by. And also it's super useful to use it to contain them next to you in the vets, those sorts of things. So really, really useful thing to use. And I'm just going to show you straight away some videos so that you can see exactly what I am talking about. Chloe is helping me out with the balance lead today, and what we do is we loop the lead around the front of the chest, and then we can make sure that the part that's attached to her collar is loose and baggy. So if we do lift up, or if she does pull into the lead, the tension or the pressure is across her chest, and therefore taking away any pressure away from her neck. And as she starts to walk, I'm like, oh, actually, I haven't got it quite loose enough, so I'm just going to adjust it, and then we can walk again. She actually finds this quite difficult to walk in, and she has a bit of a habit of backing out of it as well. But don't worry, because I have a super convenient hack for you if your dog backs out of it. So we take the side furthest away from us, loop it round, as I said, wiggly bit in the middle that's attached to her collar, and then we can just have a little uplift if she starts to pull ahead. The TTouch balance lead can help you to contain your dog when you need to go without triggering any frustration or panic. It provides some safe limits in which your dog can move and watch things, and also reduces the likelihood of arousing your dog. Because if we just pull them close to us, if they're just on their lead and collar, that can sometimes get them quite anxious or nervous, and they can kind of go, oh, what do I need to be scared about? Whereas this is just a really lovely, gentle way of going, I just want you to be a little bit closer to me, and then we can walk on. As well as using this with a collar and lead, I have another video here, Slightly Sunnier Day, with Remy, and you know, we can, when we're walking our dogs in a harness, sometimes it's really nice, especially if it's open countryside or the beach, something like that. We just want to give them a bit more freedom, and so we can kind of, if we're using 2 points of contact, we can unclip that front connection and just have it onto the back of the harness, so they've got more space for sniffing. But actually, if we want to say, oh, hang on, I need you in a little bit closer for a second whilst we walk past something, you can do exactly the same where the lead is attached to the back of the harness. And I just have to use a treat to get Remy to step forward and stand up for me. So I've looped it again the same across her chest, but this time it's attached to the back of her harness rather than the front of her harness. Let me play that for you again. So taking the side furthest away from me, loop it across her chest, and bring the two ends up together over her back. There's also a bit of a good hack if you haven't got a place on your harness where you can connect the lead to the front. So that can be, you know, another way of using this as well. So if your dog happens to think that they can walk out of it or reverse out of it, we also have the Balance Lead Plus. And so we go back to Chloe, And so this time I take the lead over, and what I want to do is pause the video a second, is this time, rather than just looping it across the front of her chest, I actually want to get her to step forward, or in this case I lifted her leg, so that the lead comes between the front legs. Now this is the leg furthest from me, and so you can either, depending on your dog, how well you know the dog, you can either lift their paw, or you can rest the lead down onto the ground and ask them to step forward so they step over it themselves. If you look at my body position, I'm leaning over thin air rather than leaning over Chloe, because leaning over our dogs can be a little bit unsettling for them at times. So I'm making sure that my body position is over nothing rather than over the top of her. So I have looped it between her legs, and then rather than just take the two ends together, to make it slightly more secure, I'm going to slide the handle up through her collar. So the lead is coming up between her legs, one end up through her collar, and now I just need to kind of fiddle about with it so I make sure that that section that's attached to her collar is going to be loose. So if I do lift up to make her pause a little bit or to stop pulling so much, then that's not gonna, the lead isn't gonna pull on her neck. We're really thinking about protecting our dogs' necks. There are so many important things going up and down our dogs' necks: the nerves, the blood system, their windpipe, all of these kind of things. When they pull, they can actually cause themselves quite a lot of damage if we are just walking them on a collar. So it's super important to have that section. Let me show you that again. So in this case, just lift a foot over the lead so it comes up between the two front legs. So it's almost like a mini harness, like a temporary mini harness. And I wouldn't walk her for an entire walk in this way, but this is the lane that I live down, and occasionally we might come across another dog going for a walk, and so I put Chloe into the Balance Lead Plus configuration so that she stays nice and close to me, especially if I think that the other dog is reactive and might struggle. It keeps her close, it stops her venturing across the lane to go and say hello like she'd like to, and gives the other dog a lot of space. And this is a really nice way to do it. So we, just like 30 seconds that I might have this on for. But also if we think about perhaps we want to walk our dog into the vet like this, so that they don't back out of their collar. I don't know if you're like me, I like my dog's collars really loose and they can actually pull out of them if they really wanted to. We could use this configuration. Perhaps we've gone to a dog field, and so we want to get them out of the car. They might be a bit pully and excited. We can pop this on briefly, walk out of the car, across to the gate, let them out into the field, and then take their lead off, and then they can have a run around. So it's a temporary thing. It's not something that you want to do your entire walk in, because actually what we would prefer is for our dogs to be in a harness with 2 points of connection rather than just walking them on their collar. So this is really good for dogs that back out of their out of the balance lead, so the one that just loops across the chest. But also this one is really good for smaller dogs because when we have the balance lead where it's just resting across the chest, with smaller dogs that can kind of lift up towards their neck and their throat. And so this is really good for those smaller, shorter dogs because it stops the lead from coming up to their neck and causing any discomfort that way as well. And also with smaller dogs, it's even easier for them to back out of the balance lead. So a really nice handy hack for little dogs as well. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope you find it super helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.